Aloha, everyone. Welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me. This is Labor Day, so happy Labor Day to all of you in the United States for the week of September 5th, 2023. Got a lot I want to cover today, actually. Everything from the World Economic Forum and updates to banks. So let's get started. I don't like to waste your time. Stocks face a historically rough month ahead, actually, a couple of months, because if you look through it, September and October are typically very volatile. And I think this will be no exception. We're going to go over a few reasons why. So, the economic calendar coming ahead, we're really not getting a lot of data this week. But what we are expecting on Thursday will be the initial jobless claims. We'll be looking at those numbers. And a parade of Fed Reserve presidents will be speaking. So, Thursday, I expect a lot of volatility on that alone because basically, traders are looking to see if the Federal Reserve will continue to hike rates. I expect that they will do one more hike in September as soon as possible of a nominal quarter point, simply because they've been saying so and they don't want to shock the markets. So, moving on to our economy, we've got this story saying the US economy added 187,000 jobs while unemployment rate unexpectedly jumps. Well, we know the unemployment rate is going up. Even though they're cooking the books, everybody knows it's going up. So I don't know what was unexpected about that. Anyway, we've got another business. So this story is typical of small to medium businesses across the country. And that is why this story is significant, because small to medium businesses produce 60% of the United States GDP. So if that engine goes down, basically that's what's going on with America. So iconic North Carolina furniture maker closed. And instead of giving the typical 30 to 60 days notice, they couldn't restructure their debt, meaning that they could not get more loans to further their business and carry it forward. So they basically told their employees they had 2 weeks and they would be closed. So moving on to the banks. Okay, so everybody knows and pretty much is in agreement that we are headed for a recession, whether it's a soft landing, hard landing. Everyone, all the analysts are pretty much for the most part on board that this is going to happen, but nobody knows when or how deep. So that's the kicker. So what I'm looking for are kind of indicators of how this timing might play out. So the first one is that coming in March, we've got the convergence from March of 2008, 15-year adjustable rate loans that will have to be restructured or redone, as well as the 5-year loans from 2018. And this is not just residential mortgages, but this is also commercial banking loans. So I think that's going to be, we might see a bit of a flood from that. The other things that we are watching is the unsecured credit card debt. So that is going to start timing out, and we're already seeing defaults. So somewhere between November, I think people are going to try to push it through December, make their payments just so they can purchase Christmas holiday gifts, and that will kind of roll in come January as well. We'll see what happens. We've also got these student loans which are coming due this month, but so far it looks like there's actually been a pretty positive response and payments to that. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you up to date on that. We've got the quote of the decade, and this is from President FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, back in March 12, 1933. He said, "I can assure you it is safer to keep your money in a reopened bank account than under the mattress." So I did a fact check on this, and it's true. He spoke the truth. Because if you had kept your money under the mattress, it would be deflated by over 96% without your consent. So the government can steal your money without even having to find it, know where it is, or touch it. They just inflate it away. So if you had saved $100 back then, it would be worth $3.24 now. So they have effectively stolen $96.76 without even knowing where your money is. Inflation, just another word for government theft. So I love this calculator. I know I'm a bit of a nerd. little bit about me, but this inflation calculator done since the beginning. So I just put in $100 since 2023 now, since 1960. The equivalent would take you $100 now to buy something that would have cost $9.68 back then. So this is kind of what that curve looks like when you graph it out, 1960 to 2023. Your purchasing power completely evaporating. So one thing about this is, despite this inflation, I am encouraging people to pull their money out of banks, the cash currency, physical dollars. The reason is we are at this point in time, going back to the timing of this, which I'm not smart enough to do. So I would rather be early than late. And what I encourage is to have a minimum 3 months, if you can, bills, cash to pay for what you need for 3 months. 6 months is better. 9 months would be good. We don't know when this is going to happen, but typically, if history serves as a lesson, people sell everything they can to get $2, and that will create that crush. When this happens, that will be the proverbial blood in the streets that everybody talks about. And how we're going to see that physically is we're already past a couple of stages. So the first stage is that people begin slowing down on what they're purchasing. They're discretionary. They stop going out as much and spending extra cash, trips, other things. The second stage of that is they start cutting back on food items or things that they do need but not necessary for survival, basically. And we were already seeing that as well. The third stage is they start actually begin selling items that they have a value, that do not have sentimental value, followed by those that do have sentimental value, followed lastly by things that they do need. For instance, would be their vehicle that they need to get back and forth to work. But if it's the last item they have of value, they will sell that as well. That will be the blood in the streets. Shortly after that period in time, there would be a return to inflation, and the inflation period will come back with a vengeance. So that's kind of a short outline of what I think we have to look forward to probably this next year or so. Like I said, I'm not smart enough to know the timing. It's not financial advice, but you may want to be prepared for that in the long run. And I'll just keep you up to date on that. So back to our trade stories. We've got a lithium miner saying they're suspending their direct shipping. So this will affect electric vehicles because it's needed for batteries. And having issues with electrical vehicles anyway. The sales have slowed tremendously. They're dropping the prices, Tesla dropping their prices. So we'll watch that moving forward. Huawei, which I was talking about the other day, getting speeds close to Apple. So they took a phone, wanted to see what they were doing. They were reverse engineered, which means they took it apart to see how it worked. So they saw that they were daisy chaining these smaller chiplets that we were talking about before and making them work. So ironically, coming from a communist country, we're seeing what normally a capitalism free market will solve. They will find a way to make it through. So that's interesting. And now for lava updates, my update on the World Economic Forum I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, they're calling for genetically modifying humans to become allergic to meat. So they won't eat so much meat. This in the middle is Dr. Matthew Lau. And he's also talking about bioengineering humans to become smaller so that we use less resources because it's better for the planet. And we all know that they have been trying to look for alternate proteins, which include lab-grown meat and bugs, anything they can feed us. And trust me, they're not going to be eating this stuff. They only want to feed it to us. So I have a question for him. Hey, Dr. Matthew Lau, are you testing other substances? And the reason I ask this is because we just came out with a study on magic mushrooms. Psychedelics easing depression, which I actually think would be a good thing. Anything that can naturally replace a synthetic substance that will boost big pharma, I think is a good alternative. However, I don't see it going very well because it will cut into their profits unless they can find a way. So with that, I wish you all a green trading day tomorrow, but I wish you a wonderful day for today. Hope you get out with barbecues and get some sunshine. And with that, Until I see you again, my friends, stay free.